Welcome to Ray Sensation. I'm your host, Dan, and in this issue, I'm going to be looking at the Jack Kirby Collector magazine, number 77, summer 2019. It's the Monsters and Bugs issue. Now, I'm a big Kirby fan, and I have a lot of the early issues when it was a different format of the Jack Kirby Collector. Hopefully I still have those in storage somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do. Hopefully I'll come across them, and maybe I can do an episode on those. But I've only been buying it sporadically over the years. I mean, there's a lot of published Kirby that I don't own at this point, let alone buying this, which covers, sketches and everything like that. You're weighing what all you're spending your money on. Somehow I missed this one. I wasn't keeping up well with tomorrow's press stuff. Wow, this is an absolute corker of an issue, because Monsters, Kirby, Bugs, those are all the top of my list of great things. Be honest, Kirby and these giant rods he would have sticking out of creatures used to drive me crazy. I used to see those rods and be like, no, they're too big. They're what purpose could they serve to be that? They remind me of handles on a bike or something. They're so big. But that's Kirby. That's a great Frankenstein monster, though. There he is. Let me take a glance and make sure there's not too much. I don't think there's too much glare. I mean, look at that. Look at that evil ant and this evil spider thing. Now this, I'm not sure why this is in the Bugs one. I think this is one of those romance. Yeah, I think this is one of his straight romance comics. Maybe it's one that just hadn't been reprinted before. She looks she's a corn-fed gal. That's all I'll say. And then here, of course, is Tales to Astonish, Journey into Mystery. I didn't have the original versions of these, but of course, in the late 60s and early 70s, they were reprinting the hell out of these titles, and I had most of those. The thing about these reprints is there's a lot of times where they cheated and, they didn't really turn out to have a monster, but there were a lot of monsters. Kirby came up with a lot of monsters, and some of them were less inspired than others, but some of them are just so far out there and terrific. Look at those sketches for them. Man. There's Gorgo. The release of that movie was part of the inspiration behind doing the giant monster things, because the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and Gorgo and things like that and the reissue of the original King Kong at the time, those were all big hits, starring, having giant monsters. And so, that inspired them to try these giant monster comics. You couldn't get away with werewolves and vampires and stuff in regular comics anymore. So you had these giant creatures here, and for whatever reason, they were pretty good. Now, one thing I will say about these is very rarely are these scary. I was trying to think. There's a couple that I find unnerving because of some aspect or another. It's not coming to me off the top of my head. There's been a bunch of collections. Well, I wouldn't say a bunch. Some of those giant omnibuses of reissues of these. There was a great little paperback that has a good number of them. As a matter of fact, that's probably right behind me somewhere on this wall. Dang it. I should have pulled that down. Boy, yes, all these giant monsters. Such good stuff. Some of the ways they come up with to defeat them are really ridiculous. Crazy science. But hey, here we go. The Mole Man monster. Kirby Kinetics. Here's Eric Powell. He's done a bunch of homage stuff. That's him doing a homage to the Devil, doing his version as close as he can to the Kirby Devil Dinosaur. There's his character, the Goon. That's what he's kind of famous for. The Goon fights a lot of monsters. There it is. Is Darkseid a monster? Oh, looks like one. And now here's some pencil work. Now here's I will tell you this Jimmy Olsen one where Jimmy Olsen and Superman go to the place where they basically meet the Universal monsters. It has a real cop-out because I forget, are they robots or I forget, there's some kind of dumb explanation for who and what they are. Or let me say this, I haven't read that since I was a kid. I don't really remember it. I shouldn't be bad mouthing it, but I seem to remember as a kid being wildly disappointed with what these guys really were. This, of course, famous disgusting cover. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. Triton, that's from Fantastic Four, I think. Isn't that right? Fantastic Four Annual, number 5. Got it. Great version of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Is a Black Magic. Here this Empire Pictures and Kirby's influence on them. Yeah, that definitely looks like a ripoff of the Kirby stuff. Mandroid and Dr. Mordred, all things that kind of, all Empire Pictures kind of rip-off kind of things. Wow. Obscure Kirby. Rarely seen stuff. Cool. Kirby Museum newsletter. Two monsters techniques. So yeah, I haven't read this yet. I just picked this up this weekend. I look forward to diving into it. Like I said, I didn't look at it at the show. I saw they had it and I was going like, I meant to buy that. Here's some creepy early monsters, pre-code. Save me from the weed. Dude, there's someone doing a parody. Budzilla versus the Evil Weed. My favorite monsters. So, here's the bugs from the New Gods. And they are kind of monsters. They're fun. Sometimes they're depicted as less monster-like than other times. Anyway, that is Jack Kirby Collector number 77, summer 2019, Monsters and Bug issue. It's highly recommended to monster fans and Kirby fans, and I know there's a lot of overlap between the two things.